So this is part two, whether or not it makes sense to have life insurance in your kids. So the first video we talked about the death benefit, providing an inheritance for a grandkid and not necessarily the child. This is different. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and take a look at that. This is the second reason as to why I believe life insurance in your kids makes sense. So this reason primarily speaks about the actual cash value. So of course we discussed it several times over and over. Cash value in a life insurance policy grows tax deferred, so you're not paying any taxes as it grows year over year, and you have access to it tax free. The only other place you could potentially do something like this without any other nuances would have been through a Roth IRA. You can't open a Roth IRA on a child. There are a lot of regulations as to how that works. You have to have earned income. Of course, if you're looking at having an account open for a baby, for instance, just a newborn, a 1-year-old, right, very young, you're going to have to provide some kind of documentation as to where they're getting the earnings from. It gets a little tricky. Of course, it is possible, but there are no regulations surrounding contribution, an actual contribution limit through life insurance. So if you're looking at putting any amount, right, in excess of how much it would you'd contribute over into a Roth IRA, which at the date of recording is about $7,000 per year. If you're looking at contributing much higher than that and have the same tax-free access and tax deferral growth, the life insurance policy would have been the best way to go. So having that policy open on a very young child, right, and giving it that runway, right, 10, 20, 30 years, you're ultimately creating a tax-free bucket of money that they can essentially use to pay for their first home, pay for college, pay for their wedding, right? Pretty much allows you to create a legacy for that child that they can then, of course, at some point pass it down to their kids.